Welcome back, fight fans, to another BTR Boxing Podcast episode. And it's a little short one again. It's just to react to the news that this past week, Luke Campbell, at the age of 33, has decided to retire from professional boxing. And we thought, why not react to something like this? Why not give you guys our thoughts and opinions in a little short clip and a little short video for YouTube and a short audio version, just to really recap on Luke Campbell's career, really. I mean, we could do something on career profiles now he's retired. You know, later on down the line, we could do some more stuff on Luke Campbell. But I think immediately in the aftermath of him retiring, I was quite shocked, if I'm being honest with you, because I still felt like he had another world title tilt in him. Perfectly honest with you. I mean, the last fight we seen of his was at the start of the year against Ryan Garcia when he dropped Ryan Garcia for the first time in Garcia's career, and then obviously Garcia came back and was quite phenomenal. Really, he adapted to Luke Campbell and he beat Luke Campbell in that particular fight by a TKO. But I suppose for us, you know, looking back on Luke Campbell's career, you've got to remember that this guy was an Olympic gold medalist in London 2012, so all the hopes were pinned on him to go on to become a world champion. And I always have that sort of nagging feeling about Luke, where I always feel like he was one of them ones that should have been a world champion. And you know, when we do our episodes and you guys listen to them and we always talk about best British boxers to never win a world title, Luke Campbell's going to be in that category, unfortunately, now. And he's probably one of, if not the most talented out of all of them guys that have never gone on to win a world title. And it's such a shame. It really is such a shame. But, and here's the but from my perspective, Johnston, he challenged himself against the best of his era, the best of his divisions. Vasily Lomachenko, he tested himself against the Matrix. He tested himself against Jorge Linares, even though his dad had passed away 2 weeks prior to that fight, and the poor lad was suffering with all sorts of anxiety and depression and panic attacks in the lead up to the Linares fight, and he was so close. He was so close in that Linares fight. So I do really feel for him, and I can't fault him for doing his best and trying so hard and being so close to winning a world title, but yet just being pipped at the post by Jorge Linares and being outworked by Vasil Lomachenko and then the young gun in Ryan Garcia. I mean, wow, they were three of his biggest fights. But let's not forget like what he has done in his career. The fights with Derry Matthews, the fights with Tommy Coyle up in Hull, and you know the two fights with Ivan Mendy of all people. You know, Luke's career for me has been brilliant. A little bit underwhelming not to win the world title, but I've enjoyed watching his roller coaster ride.
Yeah, same. I mean, I was actually watching the boxing roundup the other day when he was on BBC on the BBC, and he was talking with, I think it was Hazel. I can't think who else there was there. But yeah, and he threw out there that he's gonna retire. And it was a bit, wow, okay. I wasn't expecting it. I knew when they said it was going to be an announcement, I sort of thought, oh God, yeah, I'm guessing he probably is. So yeah, I was a bit shocked by it because, as you say, okay, he's in his 30s. What is he? Did you say was he's 33 or something like that?
33,
Is he?
yeah.
Yeah, 33. So I still felt like he had a little bit something to offer. I mean, we assumed that Ryan Garcia would defeat him. I say that we went with our head, we went with our heart a little bit too much when we were trying to pick the winner of that fight, and we did think that Luke was going to do it, just because of his experience. And when he knocked him down, I was on my feet because I really thought he's going to do it. I mean, he's unbelievable. But Garcia came through obviously and prevailed on that night. So. Again, sometimes, you do go with your heart with these guys. I just felt that it was time for Luke. And then, as you say, I mean, the Lomachenko fight at the O2, he put in a fine performance that night. He was just too good, Lomachenko. And obviously, Jorge Linares, again, after losing his dad and having to come through that, gets knocked down, fights on his first title stint, and he pushed him all the way. Linares, top fighter at the time in 2017, one of the best pound for pounders around at the time, put in a great performance. And then obviously the Mendy fight, the first one in 2015, I was actually at the O2. That was the same night that Dillian White and Anthony Joshua fought. And yeah, I was shocked that he lost that fight. Mendy was all wrong for him in so many ways, but he did recover from that, goes on and gets the win, and then obviously loses out against Garcia and Lomachenko. So I'm gutted for him. You know, Olympic gold medalist, had the gold telephone box painted near his St Paul's Boxing Club in Hull, commemorating what Campbell's done and that gold in 2012. And as you say, I really felt that he was going to go on to win a world title, and he is. He's going to go down now as one of those fighters that unfortunately had great ability, great talent, but he was unable to fulfill his ambition of becoming a world champion. It's a shame, but you look at it, Linares and Lomachenko on top of their form at that time was always going to be difficult, and then you get the young gun in Ryan Garcia. So it's a bit unfortunate for Lucas. Just at that time in such a tough division, he was never going to really do it, unfortunately. What can you say? Sad to see that he's actually hung up the gloves, but 33, I suppose he's decided, you know what, he wants to look after his kids. I think he said he wants to be a dad. Yeah. He don't want to be going off on these long training excursions and getting himself ready for fights. So hats off to him. Good luck for the future, and hopefully I'm sure we'll see him back on telly predicting some fights, analysing fights at some point, because he's quite articulate, isn't he, Luke? So yeah.
I think when you look at his career, I think he surprisingly never fought for the British title. He never won the British title. He won the Commonwealth
title.
Didn't
go that way, did he?
No, he didn't. He didn't go down that route, because obviously when he signed with Eddie Hearn after the Olympics, I think Eddie Hearn knew he was always going to go on to fight for world titles, and this is what he eventually did. But I was just surprised that, throughout his career, he's never had the British title, the Lord Lonsdale belt. Is, in the UK, it's very coveted. It's something that, is quite treasured as a professional fighter in the UK. The British title is always the way to go. British title, the European, then the world. That's kind of the traditional route to go. But Luke Campbell didn't do that. They were throwing him in and putting him in for, like, the Commonwealth title, and they had the WBC International lightweight title, and they've got the silver titles and all the rest of them. The titles that we hate. They put him in for all them to get him into the rankings straight away, and then obviously put him in to go for the world titles. When he fought Jorge Linares, it was for the WBA World Lightweight title and the WBC Diamond Lightweight title when he fought Jorge Linares. When he fought Vasyl Lomachenko, it was for the WBC, the vacant title. It was for the WBA, the WBO. And then when he fought Garcia, it was for the WBC Interim Lightweight title. And I just think he's, when I look back on his career there, and I'm just, as I'm talking, I'm scrolling through BoxRec and looking at his career, and I'm thinking to myself, I just sort of have the feeling of underachievement. And I hate to say it, because, I honestly thought he would become a world champion. But then, has he underachieved? He wanted to win an Olympic gold medal. He did that. He said that's what he wanted to do in his career. And everything that came after that was a bonus. So really, in his mind, he's achieved what he wanted to achieve. He nearly got there to the world title, but just fell short. And yeah, he does fall into that category of probably the best fighter to never win a world title. British fighter, that is. And it's a shame. It's a shame he's retired, but fair play to him. He's obviously got enough money. He's obviously set for life with what he's done in his career so far, and fair play to him for making the right call at the right time for his life and his family. But yeah, I just thought it'd be good for us to mention it and react to it, because this type of news is for us as British fight fans, it's disappointing, because this is a guy who probably could he have come back and won a British title and maybe had that on his resume before he retired? Well, clearly he didn't have any intention. He wasn't in it for that. He was clearly in it to go straight to the top, and he tried, and he wasn't able to get there. And I think we should be very proud of him as British fight fans, as British-based podcasters. We should be very proud of what he has done for British boxing as a whole. He was part of that 2012 team. He's done a lot for his home city of Hull. Massively put Hull on the map in the UK in terms of boxing. They had the big fight up there in Hull with Tommy Coyle. That was one of the highlights of his career, really. Having that big fight up there, and I think that was good. It was. I think it was good for him. Yeah, I think it was good. I think it was good what he's done in that respect for boxing, and he's boxed on some of the biggest cards in the UK. Let's be honest, the Anthony Joshua cards that have been here. For me, he's slightly underachieved as to what I think his skill level is and was. But then again, having said that, he won an Olympic gold medal, and sometimes that's all a boxer can ever want to go on to achieve in his life. So I'm really happy to have witnessed his career. He retires as 20-4, 16 by way of knockout with one knockout loss. And that one knockout loss was actually to Ryan Garcia in January. So he'll never been stopped once in his career. But fair play to him, man. He's done, 24 fights in his career. He won the Commonwealth title. He's fought for the world title or versions of the world title on 3 separate occasions. He's tried himself against the best, and I think he's a credit to the sport. I've been very proud and privileged to watch him.
Yeah, just to touch on that, I mean, the fact is, I mean, the gold medal in 2012, he even said was the highlight of his career. It's the biggest achievement, and he said the pro game was just after that, and it was just something extra. And if he got anything from that, that was great. But he reckoned it would never surpass that gold medal that he won in the Olympics. I mean, he's a world champ, silver at world champs in 2011. Gold medalist in the European Championships in 28. I mean, it was a highly decorated amateur, fantastic amateur career. And then obviously when you look at it, I mean, he was in such a tough weight. When you look at Lomachenko and how dominant he was with those titles for a good few years. And then you had Jorge Linares, who was on the other side to that, who was dominant, who sort of held on to his belt for a long time. So, he had to topple one of those. In the end, obviously, Teofimo Lopez comes in, beats Lomachenko, and then everyone sort of starts looking at the youngsters. You're looking at Haney, and then you're looking at Garcia. So now he's in a situation where now Lomachenko might be on a slide slightly, and Linares clearly is. It's like, I'm going to have to now try and beat, Lopez, take on Garcia again, and Haney. I think he looked at that and thought, yeah, I've just been unfortunate to be in this lightweight division. And I think that's the one thing I will say why I think he's not that much of an underachiever when you actually look at what was in his division. If he was in another division where it's had less depth or less of one guy just being in fantastic, holding all these titles like a Lomachenko, it makes it's just one of those things. As I say, if he'd have gone up, maybe could have gone up, maybe because he was quite tall. I thought he was going to progress into into the welterweight division even, but it didn't. I don't know why he didn't do that. Maybe he was just comfortable at lightweight and he stayed there. Unfortunate. It really is when you look at it because of the talent that was in his division. As I say, if he was in another one and there was less talent, he could have won a world title. But would that, it's weird, isn't it? It's funny how you look at things sometimes. But it's sad, isn't it? But yeah, good luck to Luke, though. Good luck with your future, mate.
So that's it. Luke Campbell officially retires at the age of 33 with a record of 20-4, 16 by way of knockout. We've thoroughly enjoyed watching him as British fight fans. We've enjoyed the ecstasy and agony on different nights with Luke Campbell, and it's been a pleasure and privilege to cover his career in different big fight previews. So thank you to Luke, of course, for giving us all these fantastic nights, and I hope you guys that are listening and watching, you do feel the same. And if you've got any thoughts, leave a comment in the YouTube comments. Please leave us a comment on social media at BTR Boxing Pod on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave any comments you want to leave about what Luke Campbell's career meant to you, or what he could have done, or whether he just wasn't good enough. Please do drop them comments in there, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Fight fans, as a pleasure as always to come to you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.